Hi, my name is Josh M. I'm one of the student supervisors at Jacobs Hall. Now that you've got your MakerPass, we're going to go over the steps to getting started in the Makerspace. So after you've filled out the online B-Courses module for the registration and paid your access fee and completed the General Workshop safety training, your Cal One card will grant you access to the doors to the General Makerspace on the first floor. We'll take your card and badge it at the card reader on the door, and we'll unlock the door for you. So this is what the interior of the Makerspace looks like. Once you enter, you're going to take your same card, your Cal One card, and you're going to badge it on the internal reader. Flashes green, that means your MakerPass is set up okay. And that's just to help staff here kind of keep control of the flow of people into the Makerspace. Now, if your MakerPass hasn't been set up yet and there's a missing step that wasn't completed, so this is a person whose card has not been set up yet, you'll get something that looks like this. So that's access denied. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a MakerPass. It means there's most likely an administrative issue somewhere in there, or you haven't completed one of the steps. And the first thing you can do is log on to an online tool that will let you check out exactly what steps have been completed and what haven't been completed, and you can see if there's anything you're missing. Now, if you can't find an error on that end, you can talk to a staff member or a design specialist, and they'll be able to give you a little more help and input on what you might be missing. So once your keycard has granted you access to Makerspace and you have all that worked out, there's still a couple rules that are important to follow in the Makerspace. Now, first one pertains to access. Only people who have completed the General Workshop safety training and have an active MakerPass are allowed in this space. That's because of a lot of liability issues, and we need to keep control of the space, help keep everyone safe. So one of our rules is only people who have a MakerPass can come in this space. If your friends don't have a MakerPass and you need to work with them on something, you'll need to find a different area to work with them. Great assets for that are the third floor meeting rooms and the second floor classrooms, or even the basement underneath us. Those areas aren't very high risk and are open to people who don't have a MakerPass. And another rule we have in the Makerspace is no food allowed. That's because the general area is not that sanitary. Sawdust in the air, people working on projects, these tables aren't cleaned. We don't want people eating in here because it's like a bit of a health risk and maybe distracting to other people who are trying to work. That's why we've got these great picnic tables here on the terrace for you to work on. Last thing is you can hear lots of tools being used in the Makerspace. That's why you need to always wear closed-toed shoes. Never want to have a large tool or something sharp fall on your feet. So one rule is you're always required to have closed-toed shoes on in the Makerspace. So after you have your access to Jacobs Hall all ironed out, the first thing you want to do before starting your project is kind of plan for it and figure out what materials you need and what tools you need access to. At Jacobs Hall, we offer an a la carte training program where you find what tools you want to use and you take the training specific to those tools and you learn how to use them. And then you'll have access to them throughout all of our opening hours, and you can work on creating your project using that specific tools. Namely, we have our laser cutters, 3D printers, and a variety of other tools you can find on our B-Courses website. Next thing you want to do is find out what materials you need. I like to make a list of bullet point by bullet point of the different things I'm going to need while creating my project. So that way I can find out what I can procure from Jacobs Hall and what I'll need to get from other vendors. We have a material store at Jacobs Hall that provides some basic materials, namely laser cutter materials, but there's a variety of other things. You can go online to our website. There's a search function. You can type in XYZ, find out whether or not we offer it here. Additionally, we do have some basic materials that we offer for free, like sandpaper and glue and masking tape and whatnot. Those things you won't need to procure on your own. However, our material store is kind of just basic. It's just to get you started. We don't offer some more obscure and advanced items that you may need for your project. And in those cases, you'll need to go to a secondary vendor. Plenty of those within walking distance that aren't too far away. We've got Ace Hardware, Inkstone, and a variety of other resources for you guys to procure your items from. Now, not everything that you may need for your project is solid materials and whatnot. You may find yourself in need of some advice from a specialist, and that's where Jacobs Hall's team of 5 design specialists comes in. So we have 5 design specialists who have a variety of backgrounds and expertise from many different fields. We have specialists in metalwork, in carpentry, electronics, even things as obscure as glass blowing and advanced 3D printing and prototyping. These 5 people there's always at least one of them around from 8:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. on weekdays and all day Saturday. And you can seek one of them out with questions about your project or certain manufacturing techniques, and they'll be able to help you out and figure out, like, is this a good way to make this? Is there a different way? Or answer any questions you may have just in general about the makerspace. Additionally, Jacobs Hall has a team of 12 student supervisors with backgrounds in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, physics, and some other areas. And a lot of them have taken some of the classes you may be in or built projects similar to what you have. And in general, they have a good intuitive understanding of how Jacobs Hall works and the different machines, and are happy to help you with any questions you may have. We also have students who are called advanced prototypers, who have taken a lot of the machine trainings and worked around in the makerspace for quite a while and have a lot of knowledge about them. They have black name tags similar to the student supervisors, and also are always happy to answer any questions you guys may have about the makerspace. And of course, lastly, we have a culture here of collaboration. A lot of people that you may see around you working on their own projects could be in the same class as you, could have built something similar to you in the past, or may have some knowledge about the tool you're starting to use or a process that you're engaged in and are kind of just learning. And people here like to help each other, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask your neighbor. They may be able to offer you some insight. So after a long day of work on your project, before you're ready to go home, you're going to clean up your workspace. The first thing we're going to do is gather up all our tools. All the tools at Jacobs Hall have a home. We have custom tool boards scattered around the workspace. Put the tools back where you found them, and that way the next person who wants to use the tools can find them exactly where they should be. We also have some Craftsman cabinets that contain a few additional tools in the drawers and other hardware and whatnot on top. Make sure we just put everything back where we found it. Now, while you're working on your project, you may generate some debris and dirt. We have little dustpans and hand brooms scattered around the workspace. Grab one, you'll clean it up yourself. Alright, now you may have some leftover material as well. You see here we have a leftover piece of wood, some cutouts from a laser cutting project that we were working on. Now, Jacobs Hall has an awesome thing called a scrap bin, which is where you can put extra materials that you no longer need, and you can also grab materials that other people have decided to put away, which is a great way to recycle wood and get the most out of your material. We're located in here, and this scrap bin is free for you guys to add to and take from at your leisure. So now you're ready to get started in the makerspace. If everyone follows all the rules and works together and cleans up yourselves, we'll have a thriving maker community. Keep in mind all the resources that are available to you, the design specialist, the material store, and your peers, and have a great time working on projects. Best of luck on all your future endeavors, and welcome to the Makerspace, and welcome to the Jacobs community.